An economic genocide has been done on us, and we must understand how it has been done, what has been done, and that the answer is to remove this problem. You cut off debt, we are free of that genocide. And we need, that is the true question of the next election cycle. Whenever it happens, it's the economy. It is not tribe, it is not what. And the leadership that is able to do that is the only one that Kenyans should be saying are going to be the ones who are elected. We want people who are going to say we're going to cut off this pain on day one. Anything short of that, we are not hearing. We are not hearing. So Milton, for example, you're asking, what happens to commercial banks? What can we do to stop them from loaning the government any more money? We have a big problem because the government tells them that, if you don't loan us, how do we pay your interest next week? We can't pay you. It's a Ponzi scheme. What you see as treasury bills and bonds are just to pay them back the same money because it's been accumulative of interest. So they feel if they're not going to get that money, they'll be in trouble. Their banks will close, they'll shut down. So they keep loaning. It's paper. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's literally become a Ponzi scheme. And it's getting very frightening for those banks now because as much as they have this Ponzi scheme and they're saying the difficulties government is having, they have another channel here called non-performing loans within their own cycle, which are now reaching something like 700 billion because they have stagnated the economy. The economy is dead. It has stagnated for the last 12 years. What happened under the Uhuru regime is that he created a balloon called debt, created a vehicle called government appearing like it's boosting development, but productivity was thrown out. Kibaki used to stand up and tell people, go back to your shamba. Go and deliver from your shamba, Lady Justice. He used to tell people, go back, mashambani. That is when VAT addition took root. We had all these days in plans under even Moi. We had a plan where we would be fully industrialized by 2020. What happened? Industrialization was 14% of GDP when Kibaki left. Today it is less than 7%. What happened? Half have gone down. Kibaki came out with a 2030 vision. How much of it was implemented? It was never discussed and talked about in the Ruto regime. What were the milestones? Nobody talked about it. They came up with funny things like Big Four. I don't know what. Now this one comes up with bottom up. Nobody talks about 2030 vision. It's there. What happened? It was a master plan that was done, researched very well by an economic team that was very solid. Had people who came in who are ministers in Singapore. We had a lady from the UK. This was a solid program under the Ministry of Planning. And all that was thrown away because the intention was never to empower Kenyans. The intention was to make sure that we become slaves to a political regime that was bereft of ideas, but wanted to create dynasties and empires and control us. The difference with what we believe in is that we believe that we are too small an economy. Yet, even in this economy, nobody should want for anything. There is more than enough, but we need to cut off this debt. We are a $110 billion economy, GDP, per year. Well, there's no reason why we cannot be a $300 billion economy in a very short time, but we need to cut off this debt. And what happens with a $300 billion economy is that you have a country that looks similar to Dubai in terms of its infrastructure. You have literally everybody building their own houses, and they're not going to stay in mud houses. They're going to stay in decent accommodation. The dignity of every Kenyan will be there, and it will be self-propelled. And that's what the political elite do not want, because they believe that they lose power. Whereas I believe that we are about true empowerment. We actually want the Kenyan to conquer beyond our borders. We want a concept called our greatness to be seen in our lifetime. In our lifetime. Why is this the continent of the poor? Yet we are 45% of all mineral resources in the world. We are going to have by 2030, 50% of our population, young, under 30, able to go out there, the biggest workforce in the world. Why should we go and work for others? Why should we not work for our own companies? Don't we have our own conglomerates that we work and are crisscrossing this continent and beyond? This is what we are talking about. And many people who have gone through previous political regimes over the last 60 years do not want that, because here they have no ideas. They have no contribution. This is what the next election should be about, not about tribe. The question of the election, which William Ruto is trying to push out, we must reject. We must say, no, my friend, come back to the issue of the economy, because here he has failed. Here he has collapsed. Here he has no solution. In fact, all he has is continual pain. He must get out of our lives, and anyone who thinks like him, who is like him, must exit. And we must cut off our slavery, which is this debt monster. We cut it off, we breathe, we have our freedom. I remember when we used to campaign for the second liberation. Mwalimu Kibwana was in the forefront. And they used to say that you remove 2A, we are free. 2A was what embedded one single party in the constitution of Kenya called KANU. There shall be only one party called KANU, no other party. You remove 2A, we are free. I am saying our 2A today is to cut off the debt. You cut off this chain of debt and we are economically free. Now, what are the ideas of that emancipation? That's what we should be talking about. That should be the campaign platform on anybody's plate. And that's where we should be going as a country. But I want to assure you, and I say this with all humility and with a lot of confidence, Kenya does not need any debt from anybody. Those numbers that I expressed at the beginning are true numbers. We don't need any money from anywhere. We are capable of financing ourselves to prosperity. That is how strong we are. And anybody telling you that we're a poor nation is just trying to make you think small, be small, think about the small things like food and the problems that you have in your home. They do not want you free enough to question them. This is our true emancipation. And I can tell you, this country, I have so much hope in it, because we are going to get to this subject. We are going to cut off this illegal debt. We are going to cut off this genocide. And I can tell you, the future thereafter will be phenomenal for each and every one of us. It will be truly phenomenal. And I pray for that. God is with us. Kasongo is going. I don't think you need to worry too much about the man. He cannot rig an elections. We have been part and parcel of election cycles. Our reforms are so big. He has nowhere to rig. It will be so obvious to anybody. I don't even think he has the capacity or will get the goodwill. We'll see right through him. I'm so impressed by what Gen Z have done. The polling station of an election of the president is the constituency. Guard every constituency, every polling station. Tweet the results. We are not going to be manipulated by bombers here. This game will be over long before it has begun. This man is done. And he's done and he knows it. He has no recovery. The question for us is thereafter what? Because we must attain our economic freedom. I myself am committed to it. I have dedicated my life to it, to achieve it. I am about lifting. Must remember, I have a business background. A businessman does not thrive in poverty. A businessman thrives when people have got purchasing power, when they have capacity to buy what you are selling. So we want to see an emancipated and economically emancipated Kenyan with capacity, with dignity and capacity to choose what he or she wants. That is the Kenyan we want. That is the one that grows us. That is the one that will grow a businessman.
You are watching Wasos TV.